Hello, my dear learners. This is your English teacher Anupma. In this video, we are going to talk about 8th standard poem, geography lesson, and the poet of this poem is Zulfikar Ghosh. As the name is geography lesson, so don't think that we are going to start an SST lesson. No, this poem is divided into 3 stanzas. The first stanza talks about how everything looks like from the sky, and the second how civilization was set up, and in the third stanza you will see that why people hate each other. So first let's talk about the poet Zulfikar Ghosh. Zulfikar Ghosh, born on 23rd of March 1915, is a Pakistani American novelist, poet and essayist. His works are primarily magical realism. Magical realism means मतलब रियलिटी तो है इनके वर्क में, इनकी पोम्स में, बट इट इज मैजिकल, मैजिकल तरीके से. मैजिकल मीन्स विच इज नॉट ट्रू. ब्लेंडिंग फैंटेसी एंड हार्श रियलिज्म. इनकी पोम में फैंटेसी एंड हार्श रियलिज्म मीन्स बिटर रियलिटी देखने को मिलती है. In the poem Geography Lesson, the poet describes the scene of the city and the country from an aeroplane flying high. So the poet describes the scene of the country from the aeroplane, and we will also see there is a question. There was one question at the last of which the poet did not get the answer. So let's start with the poem. Before the first stanza, there is a small description. So let's read it. Can you imagine what your city would look like if you saw it from 10,000 feet above the ground? So now suppose that you are in an aeroplane and you are looking outside the window. So what will you see from the window? How will your city look like? Neatly planned and perfect in proportion, like a geometric design, it would strike you as something very different from what it actually is while you are in the thick of it. तो जब आप बहुत observe करोगे उसे तो you will see that it is very much different, okay, from what it actually looks like. Here is a poet's description of just such a view of the city. So in this poem we will see the small description of poets and some questions that come to his mind. Now let's start with the poem. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. There seemed an inhabitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned and without style, when the jet sprang into the sky. When the jet sprang into the sky, sprang means took off. So when in this stanza the poet talks about when the jet took off into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. So it was clear to the poet that जो भी city जिस तरीके से भी develop की गई है, so why it had developed the way it is. जिस तरीके से develop की गई है, तो क्यों उस तरीके से develop की है. It was clear to the author when he see the city from a certain height, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. So when he see from a certain height, so he can see that he covered certain mile in 6 inches. मतलब बहुत एक जब आप किसी हाइट पर होते तो एक माइल का डिस्टेंस भी वो कुछ इंचेस में ही कवर कर पा रहे थे. There seemed an inhabitability. Inhabitability means that can be avoided, or we can say that is certain, about what on ground had looked haphazard. Haphazard means without any plan or order, unplanned and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. So when the jet took off into the sky, so it was clear to the poet why the city is not as per proper planning. Okay, so when he see from the ground, जब आप ground पर रह के भी देखते हो तो कुछ भी मतलब कुछ भी प्रॉपर तरीके से प्लानिंग करके नहीं बनाया हुआ होता है, कुछ भी ऑर्डर में नहीं होता है. सो फ्रॉम अ सर्टेन हाइट इट वाज क्लियर टू द पोइट व्हाई इट इज नॉट एज पर अ प्रॉपर प्लानिंग. Second stranger is when the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography that land and water attracted man was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. So, in this stranger, the poet talks about when the jet reached at the 10,000 feet. So when he reached at the 10,000 feet, it was clear to him why the country had cities built along the rivers. So it was clear to him that the river provides resources as well as source of earning and livelihood to the human beings. That's why the are cities are built along the rivers and why the valleys were populated. The poet even understood why the valleys were inhabited. The logic of geography that land and water attracted man. So here is a logic behind this geography that land and water attracted man. जो land और water है वो man को ज़्यादा attract करता है. Was clearly delineated. Delineated means shown. So it was clearly shown when the jet reached 10,000 feet. So the logic of geography stated that the intersection of man and water fascinated man. So when the jet reached a height of 10,000 feet, the logic behind the geographical structure could be clearly seen by the poet. Third stranger is when the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that the man on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities, and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. Now, our poet has reached at the height of 6 miles. So, here he mentioned it was clear the earth was round. At that height, it was clear to him that the earth was round. Now he can see the whole earth. And that it had more sea than land. और उसको ये भी clearly दिख रहा है कि अर्थ पर land से ज़्यादा sea है. You can see on the globe also that there is earth, there is a land more than sea. But it was difficult to understand that the men on the earth found causes to hate each other. But all these facts became clear to the poet about the geographical structure of the earth, about everything. He was clear. But one thing the poet could not justify was the hate that existed among man. That the men on the earth found causes to hate each other. मतलब लोग को hate करने का क्या cause है? What's the reason behind hating each other? To build walls across cities. What's the reason behind building borders? Countries के border होते हैं, cities भी divided होते हैं. So what's the reason behind those borders? It was not clear to the poet. And to kill them. From that height, it was not clear why. So even from such a height, now he was on 6 miles high, but these questions still remained unanswered. He was not able to get the answer of all these questions. Why everybody hate each other? Why all fight? Why all do wars? So it was not clear to the poet. We human beings have a lot of knowledge about the earth, its shape, the emergence of civilization, cities, and nations. We have a lot of knowledge, but we have attained absolutely no knowledge about how to live peacefully on this amazing planet. We do. we hate each other so much. We started feeling jealous with people. Earth is one, but we people living on it have divided it and fragmented it. We on this planet are not living in harmony together for shallow reasons. If we people decide to forget our differences and stay together peacefully, this planet would be a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing place to live. Right? Uh, the moral of the story, we can say that is we shall all live together on harmony and not fight with each other over small things. In this way, we can make Earth a beautiful place to live in. So that's it about today's poem. Thanks for watching.